Hey everyone, my name is Karen Gunton and I'm here at the Lighthouse Revolution headquarters. My mission is to help women shine their light in the world and be their highest, brightest version of themselves and live a life that lights them up. And that's the path that I'm on as well. I'm here doing the work to shine, just as I encourage others to do. And one of the things that I like to do is to sit down with my intention, something I'm working on, a project, an idea I have, or a goal, and just get really clear about it and clear the way so that I can take action, get unstuck, and get aligned with that intention. So that's what we're going to do today. I'm going to walk you through my process that I use here at home when I'm working on anything. Sometimes I use it when I'm feeling particularly stuck. Sometimes I do it when I'm particularly excited about something and I want to get really clear about where I'm going. Sometimes I do it just to, get my mojo going about something that I maybe not feeling that excited about. So I'm going to share with you the process that I use. Whether you're live or listening to this later as a recording, you may want to have a piece of paper and some pens to write down some ideas that come up for you. I'll give you some prompts of things that you can do some brainstorming and write down your thoughts. If you're just listening to this, maybe while you're driving or walking, writing your ideas down might not be ideal, but you could always come back to it later. I do think there is a value in actually putting pen to the page and getting those ideas out of your head. So I do encourage you to do that. Everything that I share here today, I will record. I'll share my notes with you and some photographs with you afterwards in the event page for this session. So do pop in there. I would also really love to hear how you go. If you come up with anything, an aha or a bit of insight or clarity that you maybe didn't have before, or something shifted for you and you feel like you're not stuck anymore and you're ready to take action, I'd love to hear about that. This is only my second time of doing this as a group and not either just for myself or with somebody one-on-one. So we'll see how it goes. And so your feedback is really valuable to me as well. All right, and the last thing I'll mention again, if for anybody who's joining live, there is a chat box here in the video. You're welcome to pop down your thoughts, your insights, your answers to my questions, anything you'd like at any time. And for anyone who's live, I will stick around afterwards to answer some questions or just to chat. So we'll get started. I always like to start out any of my group work by just doing a bit of intention setting or thanks, or I call it an invocation. So if you would like to join me in that, I'd like to just take a moment to get grounded and settled into what we're here to do today. So please take a deep breath in and imagine a beautiful, beautiful light inside of you, expanding and beaming outwards. Take a deep breath out and just surrender. Let go or release anything that is not of service to that light or not of service to your time here now as you do this session. And let's just take a moment to give thanks. Thank you, universe, for bringing us together here today to do this work so that we may stand tall, shine bright, and own our light. May the ideas and inspiration shared here today be of the highest service to our light, so that we may rise up and take the next step on our journey. So to everyone here with us today, I thank you for choosing to do this work. Thank you for choosing to shine your light. And so it is. All right, so let's get started. I asked everybody to come here today with one intention in mind. And if you've got that paper and pen, it'd be great to write it down. You do not have to share it, but if you would like to share it, you are very welcome to open up the chat box and share your intention, or afterwards to come and share your intention in our little live event group over on Facebook. But just at least write down your intention and just state exactly what it is. Now, your intention could be something personal. It could be something about your business or your work. It could be about a goal that you have for yourself. It could be an idea that you've got floating around in your head that you want to flesh out a little bit. It could be an intention for the day or next week, or for the month. So it's completely up to you. And thank you to those of you who are already sharing your intentions here in the group. So that's fantastic. All right, so once you have that intention down on the page, what I'm going to start with is just asking. Now, I like to use, when I'm doing this, I like to use a combination of, whatever's coming up for me, and that's why I like to write things down and brainstorm. And I'll be sharing some strategies, some practical strategies to help you. And I also like to use some of my woo-woo implements and little friends I've got here. And I find these are just great for just helping to guide your way through this work, and so that you can come out the other side and be ready to take action. So I'm going to start by choosing one of these beautiful mandala stones from the Fifth Element Life. And I actually choose one of these a day to help me with my intention, and it just gives me a bit of guidance of what might help me. So this is what we are being shown to help us with our intention today. And this mandala stone, again, is from Sarah Wilder at the Fifth Element Life. And this is the stone of intuition. So that's really nice. So basically what we're saying here is that to take action on this intention and to go through this process today, we'll need to be tapping into our intuition a little bit. And I also, another thing I do, sorry, I'm just looking for it. Oh, there it is. The other thing I like to do when I've set an intention for myself and something to help me with my intention is that I love to use essential oils, and I use doTERRA oils. And you can I like to dab a bit of this on my skin or put it in the diffuser, but I just find that it's a great way to kind of anchor yourself into the intention. And so since we've been given this stone of being reminded that we need to tap into our own inner wisdom, that we need to sort of stay open to any messages or ideas or information or people that come our way, and just trust and listen and be open to that. So a little wonderful reminder of something that will help us with this particular intention. And so I've got frankincense oil. And that is a great oil for tapping into your intuition. I also, when I started out today, what did I put in? Where can I find my oils today? I also have put in clary sage, which is great for clarity and focus and thinking about, setting that intention and what it looks like. So I think that's a great one for this type of session. So I'll use a combination of clary sage and frankincense today as we're doing this intention right now, burning away there in my diffuser. And I'll just add the frankincense. There we go. All right, so we've got some beautiful oils, and I know that one of our guests has mentioned that she put on some Smart and Sassy. That's one of my absolute favorites, so that's fantastic. And I love that you did that. That's awesome. All right, so something to keep in mind as we go through this session today. We're going to trust our instinct, our intuition, and that inner wisdom that lives inside of us. Okay, so what I want you to do to start out is think about that intention. And I want you to visualize that intention that you've set for yourself for today to think about, to consider. I want you to think about that intention and really allow yourself to start to feel really ignited about it. That's our first goal for this session, is to really feel ignited about our intention. So do a little bit of brainstorming on your paper here, and some things that you might want to think about are, if you could picture that intention that you have as though it were a done deal. It's happened, it's done, it's amazing. Yay, you're successful. What would it look like? What would it look like? And that idea of that clarity, that vision. What would it feel like? How would you feel? What would you be talking about? What would you be thinking about yourself and about the situation? What would you be doing? How would you be acting? How would you be spending your time? So this is really about really getting clear on that vision and getting clear on really that dream that you have, whatever that intention means to you. I like to think of it as defining the dream, or defining that sort of highest thought, the highest, brightest thought about this intention. And you might even consider what difference it might make in your life, what difference it might make for other people, depending on what your intention is, how others might feel or be affected in an amazing way. Yeah, just really any idea, anything that will help you to feel ignited. And another thing you might think about is, in what way does this intention really excite you? How does it tap into your passion or your strengths, who you are in the world, and what you have to share? You know, so if your intention is something to do with your work or your business or a project that you're working on, you know, make sure that you've included yourself in that visualization and how you yourself feel really ignited about this. If your intention is something more general, like, you know, maybe it's something around the kind of week that you want to have next week, or from now until, you know, next Friday, you know, again, just think about how you yourself might add to that by being the highest, brightest version of yourself. So just spend a couple of minutes really allowing yourself to dream, and just dream the best dream, the biggest dream. You know, if you knew you couldn't fail, if you knew that nobody would think you were crazy, no one would think you're a loser or a wacky, or if you knew it wasn't going to ruffle any feathers, if you didn't worry about money or time, you know, if you could just snap your fingers and make this whole thing just be fantastic and this intention be real, what would it be like? And just let yourself really tap into that joy and excitement that you feel. Because this goal right now is all about igniting your intention, igniting your energy for this intention. Because we can't take action if we've got no energy for it, if we've got no fire, if we've not got any fuel in the tank. So anytime that I'm feeling kind of stuck about something, this is always where I start. I just sit down and let myself do some dreaming and visualizing and brainstorming, and that idea of that highest thought about yourself, the highest, brightest version of you, the highest, brightest, tallest, most wonderful version of this intention, and just let yourself dream and be excited about that. And you know, think about your why. Think about why you want this, what difference it would make, what's really driving you here. So a why is a very important part of visualizing a big dream that you have for yourself. Now, I'm going to pull a card for us here, just as a reminder of something that's really going to help us to think about that highest, brightest version of this, to really raise our vibration here and feel truly ignited. So let's see what comes up. Oh, it's beautiful. This is from the Connected and Free deck, which is from the Alchemist's Oracle. And you could sit down and do this if you've got your own little cards or you've got an app on your phone. I just think it's a great way to think about some things maybe that you haven't thought about yet. Pull a card and see what comes up for you. So this one is Sun's Rays. Can everybody still hear me? I'm getting a message that my connection's cutting out. That's the Sun's Rays, and it's absolutely gorgeous. What a beautiful card. So let's see what comes up for that. There's a reminder in here for us. So think yourself about how can this add to your vision, your brainstorm, your visualization that you've just written down. Thanks for that reminder. It broke up a little bit, so hopefully it's going to keep going. I love the internet here in Australia. It's just so trustworthy and fantastic. Okay, Sun's Rays. All right, so have a look at your visualization, your brainstorm that you've just done. And visualize this. This is beautiful. You have turned the corner and lifted your face to the sun. The commitment you have shown to yourself and your journey has seen you through the other side of the storm. Oh, I might get choked up here. The waters are now calm, the breeze gentle, and the sun's rays soaking into your every cell, energizing you. The clarity you have been searching for will become crisp and clear, and the universe is hearing your intentions. Ah, what a beautiful card! The universe is hearing your intentions. Now is a good time to journal and set some new personal standards that reflect the emerging you. So what a gorgeous card to remind us that, that we're on the other side of the storm and that the universe is hearing your intentions. So what a great time to have a look again at your visualization. And maybe could you dream just a little bit bigger? You know the universe is hearing you. And this message is telling us that the waters are calm. We've turned the corner. Things are looking good. Does that help you feel a little bit more ignited? And what could you dream perhaps just a little bit bigger, knowing that if you put it down on the page, the universe is hearing what you're saying? That's pretty amazing. Ah, I love this card. That's like the best part of my week so far, is that. I will take a picture of all that for you and share it in the group. Oh my gosh, and I'm so excited. We've just had one of our live members say that you've triggered something amazing, a piece to the puzzle. That's so cool. I love that. Dash and get going. Well, you do that, Lovey, and check out the rest of the recording, because maybe some more pieces of the puzzle will come as we continue on today. That's awesome, then. Thank you for coming. Okay, so you can always come back to this. We're going to keep going, but you can come back and do more visualization and more dreaming, as a great way to feel ignited. Now, the next step that I want you to do is to think about, now that you're feeling ignited and you're feeling kind of clear about what this intention really looks like, and you've kind of brainstormed about it, and you've got all those thoughts about your intention down on the page, what it looks like, what it feels like, what you're going to be doing, what it might take to do it all. The next step is to get aligned, to check in really and see how aligned you are feeling with this intention. So what I want you to do is just to close your eyes for a minute and imagine holding it in your hand. Thank you for joining. No worries if you got to go. We'll see you later. I would like you to just hold that intention in your hands, figuratively, in your mind's eye, whatever it is. And I want you just to say in your head, I feel 100% aligned with this intention. I feel 100%, I am 100% aligned with this intention. And already, you might even feel in your body some places that you're not 100% aligned, but here's some questions that you can go through, a little bit of a checklist, and I just want you to think about these as I ask them. Anytime you want to start jotting ideas, stuff that comes up, do that. Get them out of your head and down onto the page. But ask yourself this as you picture holding that intention in your hands, as you picture that visualization of your intention. I want you to think first. And by the way, this little checklist that we're about to go through for alignment is the lighthouse. So one of the things that I learned as I was trying to think about what it means to shine your light is it's not enough just to ignite the light. And I know we just spent a lot of time doing that bit, getting that clarity and feeling ignited. That's awesome, but there's more to the story. And that's where the lighthouse has come from, the rest of the story. So the first question I'll ask you is about that light, is about how ignited you are feeling. You've done that visualization. Do you feel really clear about what you see there? Do you feel like your purpose and your strengths and your dreams are ignited? And how do you see yourself? How do you see yourself in this? Does how you see yourself match this intention? Right now, if you don't actually feel like that intention fits you completely, then that's a place where we could tweak it and make it feel more aligned. So we're starting off with light because that's what we've actually started with, is that idea of igniting and visualizing. But you can check in with yourself now and ask yourself, how ignited do you feel? And can you see this clearly? Can you actually see the result of this clearly in that visualization? The next one on the checklist is about the beacon of the lighthouse. So can you own it? Can you own this intention? Could you speak it out loud to others? Can you say it out loud? And when you talk about your life and you talk about your goals or you talk about your week or whatever it is, do your words match this intention? So the beacon's all about owning it and speaking it clearly. And so that's a place where you might notice something that maybe doesn't feel aligned. Someplace you feel blocked or closed off or stuck. As an aside, I'd mentioned that if you wanted to share your intention, you could, but this would be a great place to share it, to speak it out loud and to say out loud to one other person, even those of us who are here today, or send me a message and tell me if you'd like, and speak your intention out loud and see how good that feels. Because if you are having a tough time with that, then that's a sign of a place that you're feeling a bit of resistance to making this intention happen. All right, the next thing to check is what I call the tower of the lighthouse. And really, which is about building what you love. So do you absolutely love this? Are you in love with this intention? Do you feel like it serves you well? Does it serve who you are, your light, your passion, your values, what matters to you? And if you just, picture yourself in your own surroundings, in your own tower, do your surroundings match your intention? Are you surrounded by things and activities and people and stuff that matches this intention? The next part of the lighthouse is the foundation, which is about being able to back yourself and feeling confident and having belief in yourself. So how do you feel about this intention? Could you back it? Can you back yourself with this? Are you going to be able to fight for it? Can you act on it? Could you take action right now on it? And the actions that you are taking in your life, do they match your intention? The next part of the lighthouse is the staircase, and it reminds us to check in with how we feel. So how do you feel about this intention? Do you feel that you can come at this in a place from curiosity and joy and fun and pleasure? Or does it feel like a chore? Does it feel like a pain in the ass? And if it's feeling like that, do you feel capable of dealing with all of the stuff that's coming up, the blocks and the stuck bits? So you can just check in and see how your emotions that are coming up, do they match your intention? Or is this a place where you might need to think about how you're feeling about things and check in with that? The next part of the lighthouse is where the lighthouse lives. It's the harbor, and it reminds us about how anchored we're feeling. If you picture planting your feet right in the ground and saying, I am exactly where I need to be. I can actually, make this a reality. I can birth this idea, this intention, and I can make it happen. And I'm so anchored into this that, it's a done deal. And the last thing you might want to check with, depending on where you are at in your own journey, is just that trust and faith that you have, that the universe has your back. And this is an important bit for me, and I think of it as the sky above the lighthouse. But it just reminds me to check in and how well am I feeling that faith and trust? And do my thoughts, about this, do they match the intention? Do I really feel that sense of knowing that the universe has my back and maybe even feeling guided to do this thing? Because that thing that's bigger than you can often give you a much bigger drive to get it done. So that's my checklist. And I think I might be cutting out a little. That's my checklist. And I hope that as you're listening, some things came up. Grab that piece of paper and just jot down any places where you are not actually feeling 100% aligned. It's really important. Awareness is the first thing. Acceptance that that's part of the deal. Whenever we set any intention for ourselves, there's always going to be things within us that aren't 100% aligned, and it's our job to work through that stuff. In fact, it's why we're here. It's part of the journey. And knowing whatever is coming up for you that has you feeling stuck or resisting getting this done is really important, because then you can move forwards. So, can you see it clearly? Can you own it? Do you love it? Can you act on it? How are you feeling about it? Do you feel anchored into it? And do you feel guided? Do you have that faith and trust that it's exactly the right thing for you? So jot down any ideas that you've got right now, any blocks, any resistance to this, any place where you feel like you're not 100% aligned. You might have some ideas come up about how you might not be able to make it happen, about how other people might criticize you. You might have memories come up, thoughts and feelings. You might be able to see things around you in your surroundings that don't necessarily align. What I'm going to do is just pull one card for us that's from my friend Carrie Rowett from Awaken Kinesiology, has these beautiful chakra block cards, and she actually uses them in her own alignment sessions, and so I use them all the time. I think they're amazing. Oh, you're so welcome. I'm so glad that we've got somebody who's here who said they've come up with a little solution to what she felt was a problem. That's awesome. So thank you for sharing that, because I think that's just oftentimes, once we start, this is what I call it, spiraling with your story, spiraling with your stuff, spiraling with your shit, if you want to say that. But once we start to explore it, dance with it, look at it from different angles, say, what's really going on here? That's often enough. It doesn't necessarily take some fantastic, ginormous, work in order to move forward. Sometimes awareness is enough. So thank you for saying that, because I'm glad that came up for you. So the card that I pulled and might bring up something for you is from your base chakra, and it's about security. So you might just ask yourself if that brings up anything for you. How secure do you feel in this? Do you feel safe? Do you feel like it's safe to work on this intention, or to talk about this intention, to act on this intention? Do you feel safe maybe to make changes in your life to support and serve that intention? How safe do you feel here? How secure do you feel? Because if you don't feel that kind of sense of security and safety, that it's, you're going to be okay if you take action on this attention, it's going to be really hard to do that. So that's the block card that's come up for our group today. Just check in with how you're feeling that way. Safety and security. Now, what do you do? What do you do when you're like, okay, well, I can clearly see that I've got this thing that's, making me feel stuck, or making me feel like this is going to be too hard, or maybe you feel overwhelmed, whatever's coming up for you. The other thing you can brainstorm are some ideas of what you can do. Oftentimes, reframing things can be really helpful. So if you have thoughts coming up of how, who am I to do this, then you can reframe that and say, who am I not to? I have as much of a right to do this as anyone else. I belong here too. And so you can reframe some things. You can change that radio station, in your head from all the negative to the positive. So if you've got some ideas written down on your page, you can simply go through and start reframing, changing things over, and giving yourself some new messages to tell yourself. Other things that might work: forgiveness. I do massive amounts of forgiveness on all of my stuff that I'm spiraling with. I do EFT and tapping. I think that's fantastic. I do stuff like kinesiology and Reiki. Helps me a lot. I've done stuff like art therapy, talking to counselors, talking to coaches, talking to my mastermind buddies. Talking helps. Speaking it all out loud so it doesn't hold that power over you. Writing helps, I think. Creative acts help. Physical activities can help. Run it out. Go stand in the shower and allow it to, wash away from you. Whatever works. So there are no rules about how to get unstuck and how to clear your stuff. Do whatever you can. And if you're feeling particularly stuck with something and you want some ideas of how you might clear it, I would love to chat with you about that. But I'll leave you to jot down some ideas right now. If you ask yourself, okay, I can clearly see that I've got this block or this stuckness or this fear or this worry or this shit memory that I need to get over about whatever happened in the past or whatever. If you can clearly see that there's something there for you to work on, maybe just an idea that's come to you today, right now, of what you might do to work on it. It's part of your job is to clear that stuff and that resistance, that stuckness. All right, so I'm going to leave you to think about some ideas for that, and we're going to keep going. If we were doing a one-on-one session and we could work particularly on your one thing, we would absolutely do some more on that. But since we're here in a group and everybody's got to have their own stuff that they're going to work on, we'll let you have a think about how that might help. And I'm very happy to help you with that afterwards. If you want to chat about some unstucking methods that you could use, we could definitely do that. But for now, what I'd like to do is just a little bit of an alignment visualization. And as I mentioned, you know, I like to use the lighthouse as my symbol for alignment. And you can, you know, just listen along and just even add in your own words to what I'm saying that are particular to your intention. But what I like to do is a combination of that positive affirmations, positive visualization, and also just sort of a mental and emotional opening up and clearing the way and healing all the stuff that needs to be healed. So as I speak, you can, you know, imagine that happening for you, and imagine yourself, of course, as the lighthouse. Before we start, I'm going to pull another card for us. I like to do this when I'm on my own. I have this beautiful angel deck from Kyle Gray, who I adore, who's a Hay House author and young, gorgeous little man who I just adore. So anyways, we're going to see what the angels have to tell us here before we do this sort of guided visualization for alignment, and see what we can keep in mind as we do that. Just as you're thinking about it, you can be thinking about that idea of alignment and how you can get yourself there. And this is a beautiful message. The message from the angel deck is to move your body. Thank you, angels, for motivating me to move my body and my energy. So what a great message to remind us that it's a fantastic way to move through stuckness and resistance, is to simply move your body. Like if you're feeling emotionally stuck, mentally stuck, if you've got something stuck in your voice and you can't say something out loud, if you can move something else physically, it can remove the emotional and mental and other stuckness. So move your body. Go out for a run, go jump on the trampoline, go for a long walk, go do yoga, go play with your kids and run around, or, you know, grab the skipping ropes, or whatever works for you, Go for a big long run. Move your body. What a gorgeous reminder today. And I haven't moved my body enough this week, so I feel like that message is very timely. The other thing I'm going to do is pull a crystal for us as we do this visualization, something to keep in mind. And it's very interesting that the crystal that I pulled is the lapis lazuli, which is also for intuition and inner knowing. And so I feel like this is a reminder as we do this visualization, listen to my words and just, you know, replace what I'm saying with whatever you need to say to yourself, but also maybe allow yourself just to be quiet and listen. And anything that pops in your head, any idea that pops up, or anything you're feeling in your body is maybe some little messages from your inner self that are coming through as we do this quiet visualization. So we'll just start that. And if you want to just close your eyes if you'd like, or keep them open and write down ideas as you like, it's completely up to you. I'm going to close my eyes. I need to do that when I'm doing a visualization. So picture this intention in your mind's eye. And if you picture yourself, your body, as a lighthouse, you are the lighthouse. And I want you to just picture that beautiful light that you have inside of you. That light is you. It's your soul. It's your purpose, your inner knowing, your strengths. It's the light that you are here to share with the world in whatever way you choose. So picture that light as being perfectly ignited. You feel fired up with energy. You feel like your spark has been ignited, prepared to take action on this intention. And you can visualize that intention so clearly, and visualize exactly what it means to you and the end result. And see yourself clearly for the beautiful, beautiful light that you are. Beautiful, ignited light, like the light of a lighthouse. Now picture that light beaming out to others like a beacon, because your light is not meant to be hidden inside. So whatever intention that you're holding in your hands, you're meant to share it in some way. You're meant to speak about it out loud, because speaking it and sharing it and shining it outwards is how you own your light in the world. And that's one of the things that you are here to do. So feel safe and confident and comfortable to share this intention with at least one other person. Speak it out loud, own your light, and know that when you do that, you give others permission to shine as well. So it's a beautiful thing to beam your light outwards like a beacon and to share this intention that you have with others, to speak of it freely and feel open and aligned with that idea, safe and secure, that it will be fine, that you can speak this out loud. You might allow yourself to feel vulnerable and open and raw, and it'll be absolutely okay, better than okay. Amazing things happen when we allow ourselves to be vulnerable. You might even put a hand on your heart now and picture yourself as that tall tower of the lighthouse, which is a symbol of the life that you're here to build. And with this intention of yours, you are building something that you love, building something that serves your light and serves who you are in the world. And give yourself permission to build what you love. And maybe that means saying no to stuff that you don't love or that doesn't serve this intention or serve yourself. Or saying yes to some other things, or maybe even simply making some changes or some tweaks. But sit up tall and straight and picture yourself as that tall tower with integrity and alignment, building exactly what you love. And that is the biggest act of self-love that you can do, is to take care of your light, serve your intention well, and build this thing, this life, this tower, this work, this project, this day or this week that you love. And next, you can picture a strong foundation, which is that place where you rise from. And you might picture this like right from your belly, a strong sense of confidence, that idea of backing yourself, this belief in yourself and your ability to make this intention come to life. Just feel really centered there, right in the middle of your core, centered and solid and strong, like that strong foundation of your lighthouse. And do what it takes, fight for what you want. Feel safe and secure knowing that you can do that you are the keeper of your lighthouse. It's your job to make this happen. You back yourself, you act, and you fight for what matters. And now picture the spiral staircase. And you might picture it spiraling up right inside of you. Like a beautiful, beautiful spiral of energy. And it reminds you that you are safe to explore anything that's coming up for you. Any of that stuck stuff that's coming up for you, it's safe to explore all of that. It's just part of the journey that you are on. And that's what the spiral staircase reminds us of. Feel your way through it. Try to tap into your sense of curiosity and play. Spiral with it all. Spiral with your stuff and just see what it's here to teach you. And just say, that's great, and I'm going to act anyways. I'm going to feel whatever there is to feel, and I'm going to act on this intention. And then you picture the place where your lighthouse stands. Plant your feet solidly in the ground and just be exactly where your feet are, firmly planted in the harbor, in the sand. You are exactly where you're meant to be. It's safe for you to do this work. It's safe for you to act on this intention, to speak of this intention and share it with others, to dream big dreams. And if you feel off track at any time, and like you haven't really done what you've meant to do or you thought you would do with your intention, you've kind of lost your place somehow, you can come back at any time. You can come back to your lighthouse. Your light guides you home. So just come right back to it and plant your feet once again and say, this is where I'm here to be. I'm back. You can come back to your light at any time. And lastly, you can just tilt your head up if you want to and picture that beautiful blue sky above, and just remember that the universe does have your back here. You're exactly where you're meant to be. Take inspired action. Allow yourself to trust that inner intuition and act and speak freely and do whatever you have planned to do with your intention, and just have faith and trust that it's exactly what you're meant to be doing. And that your light actually comes through you. Thank you, universe, for that. When you feel ready, you can open up your eyes again. And take a deep breath and see how you're feeling now when you think about your intention, how anchored that you're feeling. And that's one of my favorite things to do, is to choose an anchor, choose something to be an anchor to remind me of my intention and of that beautiful high vibration, ignited feeling that we started the session with. So you could grab your piece of paper again if you'd like. And I want you to think about something that could be a symbol, a talisman, a touchstone, something that could anchor you in to this intention. And something that will remind you, if you feel like you've kind of lost your way and you want to come back to it, you could hold on to it or you could remember it. So if you've got a word, perhaps, a word can be a beautiful anchor. Pick a word for your intention, your project, your week, your goal, whatever it is. You can pick a word. You might pick something like a crystal or a stone. I have this locket that I wear, and I can choose different crystals to stick inside of it based on any one intention I have for myself at any point in my day. The essential oils act as an anchor. If you want, it could be a picture in your head, a picture that you could print and put up on the wall to remind you of what you're working towards, of your why. Something that will just bring you back to that feeling of being ignited and doing the work that you're here to do, whatever your intention is. So choose an anchor, something you can hang on to. And while you're having to think about that, and you can write some ideas down, I just want to thank you for the comments. Thank you. The visualization was wonderful, coming back to my light. The light I feel if I feel lost. That's so good. I'm glad that you like that. And I hope that an anchor will help you to do that. Another thank you from the beginning. That was incredibly emotional for me. It is also incredibly emotional for me, and I cheer when I make it through without crying. And another thank you. That was a wonderful visualization. So thank you for sharing that. I really appreciate hearing that was helpful to you. All right, so for an anchor, a word, a talisman, a symbol, an object, a photograph, a person, something that you can touch, hang on to, remember, see right in front of you at your workspace or in your home. I'm going to choose an animal from this beautiful animal oracle deck from Sarah Wilder. Animals make beautiful anchors. And if you see one in your sight, it could be here for a reason. You might already have one in mind. I'll choose one for us for the group and see what comes up for us. Ooh, I like this. It is the wombat, which is all about exploration, which I think is really cool. So let's see what Sarah has to say about the wombat. Somebody's just said, thank you. My anchor is a yacht steering wheel, adventure to experience. I love that. I love that. That is amazing. And I love that visualization too. It fits with my Lighthouse Sea theme. So I'm totally on board with that visualization, that anchor. Thank you for sharing. If anybody else would like to share their anchor, absolutely. And if you're listening to the recording, I would love for you to come and share. You can share in the Lighthouse Revolution community anytime. One of our hashtags is my anchor. And yeah, I'd love to hear what your anchors are. That's one of my favorite things. All right, so about the wombat. The key to balancing all of life's callings is to explore innovative solutions. So the wombat, what is it here to remind us of? They can wander and explore without many threats. They are robust and unaffected by things like cold climates. Self-exploration, as well as real-world exploration, is essential to our soul's growth and development. They also teach us of the importance of having a beautiful home base in which we feel is ours and ours alone. And because the wombat has a reverse pouch, they're able to rear and store their young, allowing them to continue on with the things they enjoy without it hindering or impacting the life of those they love. So they're a true master of balancing duty and passion. So a reminder that you can pursue the stuff that you love in whatever way that is meaningful to you with your intention. With this wombat energy, it's so beautiful. So big reminder that we're here to explore. So keep spiraling with your stuff. Explore with curiosity and just feel quite safe in doing that because you've got that home base, that light that you can always come back to. And you can at any time come back to that visualization you started with and even do it again and just remember what you're working towards and why. I love that. Beautiful. Wombat. So I would love it for you to choose an anchor. That's your homework, one little bit of your homework. And I actually have another bit of homework for you because I don't want to leave you here with this sort of aligned, anchored, ignited feeling. The point here now is to take some sort of courageous action towards this intention. So what I would love is for you to think about one thing that you can do, one courageous action you can take, one step that you can take right now towards this intention that you set out, something you could do. And it could be as simple as, talking about it to someone, saying it out loud so you could own it. It could be something that came up for you as one of the blocks to alignment that you want to kind of spiral with a bit or clear in some way. Maybe you're going to, make a date with a friend so you can talk through something, or maybe you're going to grab your journal and go and work on that next. Maybe it is another action, something that you can physically do to make this intention of yours a reality right away. But I would like you to write down on your piece of paper a courageous action that you will take with that initial intention in mind. And don't forget to tap into that high vibration energy and hang on to that anchor as you take action. The very last thing that I'm going to pull for you today is one of my Elementress stones. So we've got 5 elements here, and we'll see which one is going to help us to take action. And the one that I've pulled is, where's my list? So I know about one thing about these mandala stones from Sarah Wilder is that until you know all the mandalas off by heart, you have to always check back at them. But this is the mandala of fire, the element fire. So, of course, reminding us to keep that fire ignited, our energy ignited, and, tap into our confidence and our strength and our own energy to succeed. It's also a reminder as we take action that we need to keep fueling our fire. So do whatever your intention is, make sure that you're keeping your fuel tanks full and you're taking care of you. Another thing about fire is that it's really sort of the motivator. So anything that you can do that's going to allow you to feel energetic is really good as well. One of the essential oils I have for this is Citrus Bliss, which is an invigorating blend. doTERRA also has a motivation blend, which is cool. And one of the ones on my wish list that I'm going to get for this is black pepper, which is meant to reignite your soul fire, which I love. So anything that you can do to just keep that fuel in your tank, and that energy and that motivation is really important as you take action on your intention. So again, the oils, I've got here Citrus Bliss, which I think is the, oh, no, it wasn't. Citrus Bliss, which is an invigorating blend, which is great for igniting that fire, that energy. Another one that's really good is black pepper, which reignites your soul fire. And doTERRA also have one that's actually called Motivate. I think it's Motivate, might be Motivation, but it's another blend that would be a good one for that. So if there's something else, you know, that you find gives you energy, it could mean just being really careful about the fuel that you take in, your food, your exercise, your rest, anything like that. So this is a reminder that we need that energy, that motivation to make this intention happen, to make it a reality. And that, my friends, is where I'm going to leave you. I hope that through this process, you have gained some clarity on that intention of yours. You did the brainstorm and the visualization, and you got really clear about what it looks like for you, as well as feeling ignited about that intention. And the other thing is feeling aligned in that checklist with the 7 parts of the lighthouse, and just coming back to each of those parts at any time. And that's a great checklist that you can do. If you're feeling stuck, go through it and see, where is it that stuckness lives? Is it in your how ignited you feel and how well you can see this clearly? Is it owning it and speaking it out loud? Is it loving it and being surrounded by stuff that is in service to it? Is it in backing yourself and taking action? Is it in allowing yourself to feel and deal with anything that comes your way? And or maybe it's that feeling of safety and grounding and security and just anchoring into it. And the last place that might cause stuckness is, you know, just feeling and that faith and trust that you're exactly where you're meant to be. So 7 little things that you could go through and your own alignment to check in and see where is that stuckness and why is it coming up. And hopefully you have a couple of ideas now about what you might do about any stuckness. And then the last 2 things, of course, were the anchor. Something to anchor you into your intention and come back to your light, even if you're off track. You're not going to live in the light all the time. So you need something to bring you back. That's what matters, bring you back. And then take courageous action. That's the most important thing after all of that, is you can have all the awareness and all of the understanding and the whole spiraling with your stuff. But if you don't follow it up with courageous action, then you're just going to end up back in that stuck place. So courageous action is the key, stepping forward. So I will leave you to take that courageous action. I would love to hear from you. I would love you to tell me about your intention, your anchor, your action that you're going to take. It'd be great to hear if there are any ahas that came up for you, any insight that you had, anything. I'd just love to hear from you. So do come over and share. You can find us in the Lighthouse Revolution community on Facebook. Post anything, anytime. There's some hashtags there to inspire your posting. I'd love for you to say hi. Anybody who is on the live call right now, I'm going to stick around and chat. For anyone listening to the recording, I'd love it if you popped over to say hi, and I'm going to leave you with your high vibration, ignited, aligned, anchored feeling, ready to act. And I wish you love and light as you do that. Much love for you all. Bye.